Once upon a time, there was a boy who liked to be curious. He liked to ask questions. Why is the sky blue? Why do buses come in fours? And why does the microwave make that noise? The rain poured against the window as Sam waited patiently for his favorite treat. When they were done, his grandma put the freshly baked goods into the cookie jar, but she didn't close the lid. Why not? Asked Sam. Because, she said, winking at him, it's a good day for an adventure. Then she went out into the rain, leaving Sam alone in the kitchen with a half-baked cookie and the mysterious jar. But to get to the whirlwind, Sam had to cross the Marshmallow Mountains. At the bottom, he found a sign that read, "Beware of Fluffy Picky Eater," and then he heard a loud boo. Startled, Sam accidentally shot a marshmallow at the booger monster and made him disappear. Because in this world, clouds were made of cotton candy and they stuck to everything. Sam got stuck several times before he realized he needed help. And when Sam finished reading their stories, they came to life. They joined him and the Guardian on her quest for the final ingredient, the song of the blue butterflies. So he shouted as loud as he could, "Help, I'm stuck in a cloud." And just like that, the cloud vanished. The whole world started to glow, and when the light faded, it was a brand new world. It was full of colorful hills, sparkling rivers, and friendly monsters. Luckily, one of the comic book characters was a bird who could carry Sam and the Guardian on his back. So the Blightbringer gathered all his strength and tried to erase this joyful world, but Sam wouldn't let that happen. He thought back to all the adventures he had been on, all the friends he had made. And then he remembered what his grandma had said. Sometimes the best way to answer a question is with an adventure. He walked deeper into the woods until he saw a clearing bathed in beautiful blue light. Why do buses come in fours? And why does the microwave make that noise? Only now, instead of the whirlwind of whipped cream, there was a dark, empty space on the cake stand. As the Blightbringer tried to erase this world, Sam asked more and more questions. And as the answers to his questions echoed across the land, Sam knew that he would be ready if the Blightbringer ever came back. Soon the whole world started to glow. All the joy that the Blightbringer had erased came rushing back. There in the center was a butterfly bush filled with hundreds of blue butterflies. He had lost all his power. The world was safe, or at least it was for now. And when the time was right, he would use his imagination to change the world. Sam waved goodbye to his new friends and stepped back through the portal. And Sam knew that he would be ready if he ever needed to save this world or any other world from the Blightbringer again. It looked like the Blightbringer had struck again. And this time, he hadn't been there to stop him. Sam's grandma was right. Being curious and asking questions could help him on his adventures. But if he wanted to save this world, he had to start asking questions right now. That was an exciting adventure, Sam said, but how did you know I would find that jar? Oh, that's not important, said his grandma, smiling mysteriously. What's important is that you keep being curious. You never know where your questions might lead you next. As they fluttered around him, Sam closed his eyes and listened to their wings. It was the song of the blue butterflies, the last ingredient for the cake. But as soon as they reached the other side, the bird dropped to his knees. The Blightbringer's darkness was so strong here that even a magic bird could only fly so far. He is hiding somewhere in this world waiting to take it over again. Discouraged, Sam sat down on a nearby hill. Suddenly, he noticed that the hill wasn't as colorful as the rest of the world. It was gray and lifeless, and as he touched it, he felt an icy wind blow across his fingers again. It was the Blightbringer. If you want to stay and help everyone here be happy, you must find him and stop him before he can spread more darkness. It was a trick. And Sam realized that if he could control his breathing, he could blow away the clouds and get to the Comic Kingdom. Then he noticed something strange. Where the marshmallow hit the ground, it turned hard and cold. And when Sam touched it, he felt an icy wind blow across his fingers. It was the whirlwind of whipped cream, the first ingredient for the cake. And to help him on his quest, the gingerbread man gave him a marshmallow shooter. She attached it to the special stand, and with a wave of her magic whisk, it transformed into a delicious swirl of whipped cream. Next, the Guardian and Sam traveled to the Comic Kingdom. That's because the Blightbringer had already sucked all the joy out of this place. To get the giggle of galactic goobers, Sam had to make the comics come to life again. So he did the only thing he could think of. He started to read them. They had to get the second ingredient, the giggle of galactic goobers. But to get there, they had to go through the cloud zone. This was going to come in handy because everything in this world was made of marshmallows, even the beds, tables, and chairs. They were huge, soft, and very bouncy. His grandma would always answer his questions with a smile. But sometimes she would say, "That's a good question for an adventure." Crumbs that spelled out the word look. Sam opened up the jar and pulled out a piece of paper. It was a map leading to the backyard, to a big oak tree, and to a hole in the trunk of that tree. And though no one had seen him in a long time, people could feel the sadness he brought with him. The only way to defeat him was to find the 3 lost ingredients for the super-duper joyful uplifting cake, an invention by the great master baker, but without the master baker's notes, the recipe was incomplete. So Sam set off to find the first ingredient, following the chocolate river until he reached the gingerbread village. But this hole wasn't any ordinary hole. It was a doorway to another world. And when she said that, Sam would know to look for an adventure somewhere around. There were chocolate hills, rivers of hot cocoa, and chocolate chip cookies as big as houses. In the distance, Sam saw a small figure holding a giant whisk. "Hello," called Sam. "Who are you?" "I am the guardian of this world," replied the tiny woman. "And you are the chosen one who can help me defeat the Blightbringer who is sucking all the joy out of this world." It was one of those days when Sam came home from school and found his grandma baking cookies. Sam looked all over the jar, but he couldn't find anything out of the ordinary except for some crumbs near the handle. When Sam stepped through it, he found himself in a fantastic place made entirely of chocolate. The Blightbringer was a shadowy monster who lived in the dark corners of this place. There he met a gingerbread man who told him about the first ingredient, the whirlwind of whipped cream. When Sam landed on one of them, it collapsed and he fell all the way down into a big pit of frosting. When Sam showed the whirlwind to the Guardian, she was overjoyed. And Sam soon discovered that getting through the clouds was harder than it looked. There he found the greatest heroes and heroines made of comic book pages. But when they saw the Guardian, they all burst into tears. As he read the adventures of daring detectives, fierce fighters, and faraway lands, the comic book heroes started to glow. But to reach the song, they had to travel to the Whispering Woods, and there was only one way to get through: to fly. So now Sam had to get the Song of the Blue Butterflies all by himself. When Sam took it back to the Guardian, she put all 3 ingredients on top of the cake, grabbed her magic whisk, and started to mix. Then the Guardian turned to Sam and said, "You have shown great bravery and kindness on your journey, but the Blightbringer is not gone." So Sam set off to find the Blightbringer. He asked all the new friends he had made if they had seen a shadowy monster anywhere, but no one had. He had taken the form of this hill to hide, but Sam had found him, and Sam knew exactly what to do. He started to ask questions. Why is the sky blue? And when Sam was done, the Blightbringer was gone. He had learned that being curious and asking questions could help him on his adventures. He was back in his grandma's kitchen. The rain had stopped and a beautiful rainbow arced across the sky. And just like that, Sam's grandma disappeared. The room vanished. And when he opened his eyes, he was back in the chocolate world. Sam sighed, and that is exactly what Sam did. Why is the sky brown? Why are there cobwebs on the chocolate? And why does the cocoa taste like burnt toast?